Are you thinking about buying a home? Well, that's awesome. Congrats. It's a big step. And one of the first things you got to do is hire a buyer's agent. Sounds a little bit scary, so that's what I'm going to answer for you on today's frequently asked questions. So you're thinking about making that move, and you're thinking you probably need to hire an agent, but a lot of folks that I talk to are a little nervous. They don't know if it's going to cost them money. They don't know how to go with the right one. What if they don't like their agent? All of that. So let's talk about it. Let's just get it all out in the open. First of all, you need to understand that in the state of Minnesota, in order to hire an agent, you have to formally sign a contract with them. It's really more about you locking in an agent to represent you than us having you locked into a contract. Of course, it's mutual, but you need to understand that you're not represented until you sign that document locking in the agent on your behalf, okay? So that's the first thing. Don't hesitate to sign a contract to hire an agent, simply because it can be canceled by mutual agreement. If it's not working out, the two of you can go your own way, okay? The second thing is this: folks are always worried about hidden costs. Well, does it cost me something up front? Does it cost me the back end? I'll tell you this, it can vary from situation to situation, and you need to talk to an agent or call me and I'll help you understand your situation. Sometimes there's a retainer fee. Basically with real estate, I don't get paid until the very end. So depending on some transactions, sometimes we'll charge a retainer fee up front. That sits in the company's account, and as long as we close on the property, that'll just be applied to your final closing costs as a credit and won't have cost you anything, okay? The reason we do that is simply because if we're gonna look for 6, 8, 10 months, we want to know that there's at least some form of compensation at the end if the transaction doesn't work out. A lot of the times, we don't have one in there anyhow, so not to worry, okay? But there's 4 things that we'll talk about. That's the first one. The second one is sometimes there's just a minimum flat fee. We'll talk about that for your situation, of course. For me, that's usually only applies if you're just buying a lot that's going to be, very, very small amount or something. Instead of a percentage, we'll just charge a flat fee with that. In most cases, though, there is a percentage that's charged, okay? Now, obviously, you're responsible to pay for your agent's commission. However, the vast majority of the time in Minnesota, you're actually not going to be paying your agent's commission, which is that percentage. That's actually going to be paid by the sellers, okay? From their agent. Think of it almost like their agent charges double and sends half to us. It can obviously vary from one situation to the other, but whether you've got a flat fee or a percentage, a very good chunk of that time, that's going to be paid in part or full by the seller's agent. So you actually, in a lot of situations, you're not actually going to pay your agent's commission, okay? Yes, your contracts will have you obligated to pay that, but it also authorizes us to get it paid for by them. Again, in the vast majority of cases, you'll be relieved of that obligation. So that's the awesome thing, okay? So that's the first 3. The last one is just about every company charges a admin fee, it's called, a broker's admin fee. It'll vary from company to company. Come on in so that in case you're watching this down the road and the amount changes, come on in, we'll help you understand what that one is. That one does apply to the buyer, and that's typically the only thing that you'll pay the majority of the time. There's always exceptions, of course, but you just want to know what the broker admin fee is for the agent that you're speaking with. But again, that only is paid when you close on the transaction at the end of the deal. So if you don't find any homes that you like, you're not going to be on the hook really for any compensation. We're helping you close on the transaction, and if that doesn't happen, then you're off the hook. Okay? Again, short of a retainer fee. So those are the expenses, okay? There's nothing else. It's all in writing up front when you hire your agent, so you're gonna have everything spelled out for you. It's really in pretty plain English. It's only a few pages of forms that we have to give you, and it makes pretty common sense to most folks, and we'll help you understand that. So if you don't sign a contract, you're not represented, and once you do, that's the way that we're compensated. So the last thing I'll say is this. If you're expecting an agent to spend a lot of time, drive around town, show you homes, that sort of thing, an agent's often going to expect that you sign an agreement up front. The reason is this: we don't have the ability really to get paid until we have a signed agreement. And so if we're gonna be 2, 3, 4, 6 months out to being paid, but we're spending all the time up front, we're just gonna ask for that contract signed up front because the state expects us to, and because that way we know that there's actually a paycheck coming if we close on the property, okay? You wouldn't want to spend a bunch of your time away from your family and your business driving around without at least knowing that you have the ability to get paid. So that's why we ask for it up front. It's not really to lock you into anything, not to lock us to anything. It's just to enable that we'll be able to get paid from those sellers at the closing table. Okay, so there's no hidden fees. You don't need to be real concerned about anything. And if you have questions, just shoot me an email, give me a call. I do buyer consults all the time that'll explain this in more detail specifically for you. And we'll walk you through that entire buying process so you know exactly what you're getting into. And again, don't hesitate to hire that agent so that you have representation and so that they're locked into providing the service that you would expect. Without the contract, they don't have that obligation. So hopefully that helps. If you want more videos like this, just check out jcarmack.com and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks so much. Have a great day.